Good morning, children. I hope all of you have gone through the first lesson, that is the portrait of a lady, written by Kushan Singh. Uh, Today we will have a poem. The title of the poem is A Photograph, written by Shirley Tolson. It is very interesting. It's all about a photograph that the author is speaking about. Dear children, we all keep our old photos as a part of our memory. And it would be very interesting to see the old photos and the context or the story connected with the photo, isn't it? So let us learn this poem written by Shirley Tolson. Yeah, Shirley Tolson, you can see here the poetess, actually female. Shirley Tolson has been writing books on the social history of the countryside since 1974. She is a leading authority on ancient tracks and roads and is the author of The Roads of Wales and The Drovers Roads of South Wales. Okay, born on 20th May 1924 at United Kingdom. Okay, Education, University of London. Okay, children. Yeah. Now coming to the poem, a photograph. The cardboard shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands, and she, the big girl, some 12 years or so. All three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera, a sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born, and the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transcend feet. Some 20, 30 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. See Betty and Dolly, she would say, and look how they dressed us for the beach. The sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter, both wry with labored ease of loss. Now she has been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived, and of this circumstance there is nothing to say at all. Its silence silences. Dear children, I told you it is all about a photograph that has arrested the growth of poet's mother and two cousins. Okay, cardboard here stands for photograph. Okay, generally we paste the photo on a cardboard or on a mount. So it is cardboard here stands for photograph. Shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling. There is a reference of two girl cousins that belong to poet's mother. Two girl cousins went paddling, walking through water. All of you write down the word meaning paddling. Walking through water. Each one holding one of my mother's hands. So both these cousins were holding the poet's mother's hand, as she the big girl. Mother is the big girl. Some 12 years or so. Actually her age that time might be 12 years, and she is the big girl. And all three, how many are there? Three are there. They were all smiling through their hair. What do you mean by smiling through their hair? Actually, you may have seen people posing for a photo, keeping their hair coming on the face and making a stylish movement of that. So here it may be because all these three were standing near a sea beach, beach, yeah. There, because of the air or sudden passing of air, the hair is disturbed and they were all smiling through the hair. Is it clear? At the uncle with the camera, because who is taking the photo? Uncle is taking the photo. A sweet face. Actually, for a daughter, mother's face is always sweet. The mother's face is sweet, and that was before I was born. Actually, she was only 12 years by then, so poet was not born. And the sea, which appears to have changed less. The image sea having no much change. Okay, wash their terribly transcend feet. Actually, here the feet of these girls, all three girls, is compared to transient. What is transient? All of you write down the word meaning transient. Staying in one place, that is one meaning. Another meaning is lasting only for a short time. Here you have to write this meaning. Lasting only for a short time. Actually, poet wanted to say, sea, the image sea is permanent in this world. Okay, it has no much changes. You can compare any sea that you have seen. Sea will remain the same, whereas human beings are subjected to death. Okay, that's why the feet may not live long, or these cousins will not continue living in the world permanently. That is why the poet used the word transient. Is it clear? So, actually not the feet is transient, but the three cousins together, they were all transient. They cannot continue. That is, this nature is permanent, whereas human beings are not. Mortal and immortal. This human beings are mortal, M-O-R, mortal, okay. Other one is immortal. Okay. Now coming to the second stanza. Some 20-30 years later, actually the photo was taken when these girl children were 12 years old or nearby ages. But after 20-30 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. Snapshot means photo. Who would laugh at the photo? Her mother, and would say, see Betty, see Dolly. Okay, these are the other two girls, Betty and Dolly. She would say, and look how they dressed for the beach, because they were enjoying an evening in the beach, and how they dressed up for that. The sea holiday was her past. For her mother, sea holiday was her past. Mine is her laughter. According to poet, the poet remembers the mother's laughter, that is past, gone also. Why? Because mother is lost. She lost her mother. So she remembers the laughter of her mother, and for the mother she would remember the sea holiday and how the three cousins went around the seashore. Both rye with the labored ease of loss. What do you mean by labored ease of loss? Actually, labor stands for hard work. All of you can write hard work. Ease means something easy. And loss means here loss of mother. Actually, poet has lost her mother. Both rye means both the holiday and both that laughter of her mother, both lost. The poet has lost both the things. The sea's holiday for the mother, and for the poet, her mother's laughter, both is lost. That means mother dead and gone here. Now she has been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived. Okay, poet's mother died little earlier than the other two cousins. And of this circumstance, what is the circumstance? The loss of mother, the death of mother. Whose death? Poet's mother's death. and of this circumstance there is nothing to say at all. And the poet cannot say anything about the death because it is she has lost her mother. There is nothing to say at all. Its silence silences. Actually, the death's silence. There you may have visited a house where death has taken place. Nobody will be talking much. There will be silence. So here, its silence, the death's silence is silencing everybody. Okay, the silence begets silence. So that is what the poem is about, children. So we can see there are three stages of life here. You know what the three stages? The first stanza deals with adolescence. Okay, adolescence. 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 Okay. And the second paragraph is about the middle age. Middle age of a person. And the last is nothing but death. Okay, the last one is nothing but death. Am I right? Yeah. So this poem deals with three stages of human life. One is adolescence, because these cousins and the poet's mother, they were all in their adolescent age, 12, 13, 14 adolescent age. Okay. Then they come to the middle age, 30 years old, 20 years old, that is coming to crossing the adolescent period to middle age. And the last one is all about death. So I hope all of you understood what the poem is about. Just the poet is recalling one of the old photographs that arrested the growth of the poet's mother and two cousins. Okay. Now let us find out some of the poetic devices used in the poem. What do you mean by poetic devices, or some figure of speech we say? You can see there are no rhyming words. Very less rhyming words are there. So it has no poetical quality. But whereas you can find some other poetic device like alliteration. The first one I am going to introduce is alliteration. All of you write down what is alliteration. Spelling alliteration. Write down the spelling: A-L-L-I-T-E-R-A, alliteration. What do you mean by alliteration? Repetition of consonant sound. You know consonant sound. You know what is vowels. A, E, I, O, U are called vowels. Remaining all letters in English is called consonants. So when consonant sounds are repeated, in poem we call it as alliteration. For example, let me tell you one example. My mother. So here M sound, M, the word M is repeated. So it is called alliteration. So let us find some other consonants that are repeated. Stood, still, st, 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 sound repeated. Another example for alliteration. And again my mother. Okay, another example. Then t, 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 terribly transit. These two are all example for alliteration. Is it clear? Now coming to the next paragraph, let us see any alliteration is there. In the second paragraph, alliteration is there again or not? T, t, 20, 30, t, t sound is there. Okay. Now you can also find whether any such repetition of consonants are there. Now coming to the last stanza, you can again find one or two example there again. Yeah, here, yes, yes, silence, silence, yes, yes. Okay. Any other? No. Now this is one such example of poetic device, and one more poetic, one or two more is there in the poem. The other one is enjambment. What do you mean by enjambment? Let me show you what is enjambment. Yeah, here's the meaning for enjambment for you. Enjambment, generally this much minute they may not observe, but you can write down. What is enjambment? Okay, enjambment means the running over of a sentence from one verse or couplet into another so that closely related words fall in different lines. For example, in simple way we can say incomplete sentence, that is depending on the second line. So that is what we call enjambment. Okay, what is enjambment? It is incomplete sentence, for example line that is connected with the next one. Here the cardboard shows me how it was. There is no, in a way we can easily identify, there is no punctuation mark. You can see here in the first line there is no punctuation mark. Okay, so this is connected with the second, so this is called enjambment. Okay, now coming to the second stanza, you can see again here there is no punctuation mark. Years later there is no punctuation mark, there is no punctuation mark, and it is connected with the next line. Again there is no punctuation mark, again it is connected to the other, again there is no, like that it goes everywhere. Here you can see enjambment. Okay, now the last stanza also you can find the example of enjambment, because here many years there is no punctuation, it is indirectly connected with the next, and here it comes the third, here it comes punctuation, so in between it is not there. So it is again another example for enjambment. And dear children, one more is there, that is the last one. Here let me underline, labored is. Okay, so it's an example for oxymoron. M-O-R-O-N, R-O-N. Okay, oxymoron. Oxymoron. Okay, this is O. Okay, oxymoron. What way oxymoron? Oxymoron means two opposite ideas. Okay, you write down a combination of words that have opposite or very different meaning. I repeat, a combination of words that have opposite or very different meaning, that is called oxymoron. Here one meaning is labored, that is hard work. Is means something easy. Both are opposite words, not matching. So this kind of expression in poem is called oxymoron. O-X-Y-M-O-R-O-N. Okay, it's clear? Labored is. That's all children. That is the end of today's class. I hope all of you understood what I said. So learn it, read it, and express it. Okay, that's all. Bye. And by the way, you write down all the question and their answers. I hope I have done justice with my explanation. You can find out all the answers very clearly, and also you can depend on the NCERT solution. Thank you. Bye.